Hey everybody, welcome back to Spooky AF. My name is Suz, and I'm joined by my co-host Rob. How you doing, Rob?
I'm good. Do you know what? I'm pretty good. I'm tired this week. It's been a long week, but I'm excited to be recording. How are you?
Grant, we did cap off the week with a Friday the 13th, so...
Oh shit, we did. You're right.
We did. Yep. Spooky, and I didn't even get... I was in so many meetings, I didn't get a chance to be spooky, and it
Yeah,
it
well,
made me
you
sad.
can see by my reaction there, I clearly didn't either.
You're like, what the fuck? The 13th? However, we haven't recorded since the 1st of September, which I was anxiously awaiting you sending me the annual, to know when fall starts, when you send me the link to Green Day's Wake Me Up When September Ends music video every year.
I'm anything, if anything, I'm consistent.
Yes, and we've gone over this before, you are my almanac. You mark fall and you mark spring for me.
Yeah, I think this is literally like the fifth year now running where I've...
Yep. You sent me the link and I was like, shit, I gotta get up in the loft and get down the winter clothes. It was my first thought. It just triggered all the fall things.
All of a sudden, everything in your house just becomes various shades of orange.
Yes, suddenly there are fake leaves hanging from the fireplace.
Yeah, well, that's it. Have you gone for the full experience yet and gotten yourself a pumpkin spice latte, or are you holding off?
Oh, I got a pumpkin spice chai latte.
God damn.
I am so autumnal. I'm that Instagram reel you sent me. I am Meemaw Fall.
You are. You absolutely are. That as soon as I saw it, I was like, "This is Suze."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Suze
Meemaw Fall
all year.
Yes. Suze in a moo working at her desk with a coffee. Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
So we need to talk about a new addiction I have.
Oh God, right.
And
okay.
it's connected to the episode today. So
okay.
Have you heard about these new apps where you watch a film and I'll go into what kind of film, but you watch it in upwards of 70, 90-second to 3-minute scenes.
What? No.
Okay. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Okay. So basically, yeah. So it's all filmed vertically as well. So you're meant to watch it on your mobile.
Oh, fuck
vertically.
off. Is this for people who just have no attention span on TikTok who can't watch anything anymore?
Oh, it gets better. Okay. So you have to, it's filmed upwards. I've seen some up to 90 parts, right? And so they're 90-second to 3-minute scenes roughly. And between each scene, you either have to pay to watch the next scene or watch ads that are longer than the section you're trying to unlock.
No.
Yep.
You've lost me now. I can actually feel my blood pressure rising now at the thought of this.
So I've encountered them via some YouTubers that I enjoy watching who have reacted to some of these quote unquote movies, and it's an absolute minefield. And they've spent upwards of $80 to watch one of these quote unquote movies.
Oh, no, it's not worth it.
It is worth it for what I'm about to, what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, obviously what you're talking about is worth it, but what they're doing is...
So I've been pulled into this black hole of YouTube reaction videos of these absolutely batshit mental movies, and they're almost all about werewolves.
Of course they are.
So, yeah. And I was like, you know what's autumnal? Werewolves. Lycanthropy.
Yep.
But so they're all Wattpad kind of AO3 fan fiction that's been through a minimal production process with terrible CGI. And they all have titles like Fated to My Forbidden Alpha and An Alpha's Love and all that other shit.
Oh, God. Right,
So
okay.
anyone familiar with fan fiction will know a lot of the tropes of these narratives. There's you think there's a human girl who then later discovers she's actually, I don't know, the daughter of some alpha werewolf, and she's fated to be the mate of a rival pack leader, and there's sex and tension, and she ends up pregnant with a baby wolf at the end, and it's happily ever after.
And does she, what's the quote? Does she run boobily down the stairs?
Oh, all she does is run boobily.
Yeah.
Okay. We can talk about it maybe at the end, but some of these are just so unhinged. However, before I go forward, I want to make it clear that I am not slacking off erotica by any means. I love erotica. I like fan fiction. I am an avid consumer of both. It's totally cool to be into it.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
However, so there's two things. One, it's going to really if you are into it, it's going to really confuse things like your Amazon Kindle algorithm. Like, I get suggested, like, Jean-Paul Sartre's Being and Nothingness right next to something called Bound to the Wolf King. So, like, in the same recommendation notification. So you're really going to, like, make the algorithm work. But,
I love how you unashamedly don't have, like, a burner account for your erotica either. You're just like, no, have it out there.
No, because I share an account with my mother who is just as into it, so it's hilarious.
Okay, well, that's fair then. Like, that's, you know... Yeah, you're out there. You know what you're about.
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, not slagging off anybody that's into it, but I do want. It did make me really want to like think about werewolves and look into some werewolf lore. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to look into some real life, creepy, weird, and wonderful accounts of werewolves. 2 in particular.
Amazing.
So, here we go. I am not going to give a huge spiel on, like, werewolf lore, because if you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know it. Like,
yeah, all you need to do is just go watch Twilight, and there you go.
Oh, God, I just died. No, so, like, oh, speaking of Twilight, though, I saw, like, the actual image of, there's a scene in, I think it's New Moon or Eclipse or something, and Bella's, like, leaning against Jacob as a werewolf. She's, like, leaning against his wolf self, but in order to, like, get the facial expression of the wolf right, they just had Taylor Lautner in, like, a morph suit with the face cut off, and so, like, there's just, you can find an image of Kristen Stewart leaning against, like, a green-suited Taylor Lautner. Like, it looks so dumb. Anyway.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, I've literally seen the first Twilight movie, and that was it. I have no other knowledge of Twilight after that, so...
Well, you do, because after you watch the first Twilight film, everything you've ever seen since then has, like, such an intense blue filter. You can't see... You've forgotten what color looks like.
It's true. I do find myself just randomly just staring at windows for hours on end as well, just, like, looking at rain and things like that, so... You know.
I mean, if you ever want to, you should watch New Moon, because then it will take away the blue filter and put in a sepia filter.
I don't, but thank you for
for
the recommendation.
So basically, coming back to it, one day I'll come back, I'm sure, or one of us will, and we'll like dig into like the lore and different cultures and stuff. But that day is not today.
Probably not.
You never know. I mean, we're coming up on a year.
We are.
We've got to explore things.
We do.
Okay.
That's true.
So, but I wanted to go obscure. So I really hope you haven't heard of these, but if you have, I hope I say something new about them. So I want to start with something close to home for me and you, Rob. So we're talking Irish werewolves.
I'm in. I'm completely sold now.
So, have you heard of the Ossory werewolves?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you know the full story?
I do, actually, yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
but look, Irish werewolves, you got to give it to me. Also, our friend Kieran, who's friend of the show, he's big into them, so that's how I'm aware of them.
Okay, well, hopefully I can let our listeners in on some interesting bits about it. So, my sources for this are the Kilkenny Castle website, a cryptid wiki, irelandseye.ie, and Wikipedia. So, the Ossory werewolves appear in medieval Irish, English, and Norse sources, and many researchers and hobbyists believe that the legend likely emerged because warriors in ancient Ireland were referred to as having wolf-like characteristics. So much so that there was an adjective phrase that meant, so basically translated to go wolfing, which used to refer to warriors going on raids, and I'm sorry, we need to bring that back.
We do.
That's me going for a midnight snack. I'm going wolfing.
Yeah, true.
So I'm bringing that back. So these were wolf warriors, and again, I'm so sorry, I've lived in Ireland for a while, but I know absolutely no Irish. Luchthon, it translates into wolf skins.
It's like Luchthon.
Yeah, there we go. Likely provide the basis for the legends. So well into the 16th and 17th centuries, Ireland was still relatively densely wooded, particularly in the center, and wolves were all about the place. In fact, the last recorded account of a wolf killing occurred in County Carlow in 1786. There was a wolf that was killing sheep, and it was slaughtered by the local residents. Now, this we need to go back further, though. So we're going back to early medieval Ireland to the kingdom of Ossory. So there are a couple other names of it, but I found Ossory the easiest. It's the anglicized word, and I found it the easiest to pronounce, so I do apologize. We're just going to go with that.
That's all good.
Yeah. So the kings of Ossory reigned over Ossory from the 1st or 2nd century of the Common Era until the late 12th century. The kingdom was in southeast Ireland, and it disappeared following the Norman invasion of Ireland, and it was located between the kingdom of Leinster and the kingdom of Munster. It covered much of present-day County Kilkenny and County Laois. So, according to the Irish work Fitness of Names, and I'm not even going to attempt the Irish pronunciation on that, they detail a legendary warrior werewolf named Lagnic Phaled, I think. Lagnic Phaled. And also, I couldn't stop autocorrect from continually switching it to failed, like I failed a test. So if I say that at some point, I do apologize. And it said, direct quote, "He was a man that used to go wolfing, and his offspring used to go after him, and they used to kill the herds after the fashion of wolves. He was the first of them who went into a wolf shape."
Very good.
So
Interesting.
we're already, like, I don't know about you, like, we're already kind of seeing some moving into a gray area of, like, oh, these are, like, warriors who would, like, don wolf skins or like, act kind of wolf crazy, and then maybe an actual supernatural thing being described. Like, I think it's unclear.
Yeah, that's they did. So there's a lot of like Viking mythology as well around this, with like the berserkers and things like that, where they would kind of like embody the spirit of it, and that's how they describe them, as like turning into the creature.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of like, there is actually in pop culture there is a representation of a Viking going into like berserker mode. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I think it's in the second season of True Blood. The vampire Eric Northman is like from the Viking era, and so like there is a scene of him like how he becomes a vampire, where he is like wearing a bear skin and like screaming with an axe.
Amazing.
And so that's my idea of what's going on here, except with maybe like a wolf skin instead.
Fair, yeah. It's, you know, I think it's that kind of like, it's how to like the terminology of the time, how to best describe what it is that they're doing.
Exactly. So, and then something called the Book of Ballymoth from the late 14th century speaks of, quote, the descendants of the wolf. Gerald of Wales, recorded in his book Topographia Hibernica, provides arguably the most famous accounts of the werewolves of Ossory, and that's kind of where I'm drawing a lot of this story from. So, and again, this is going to be a very different werewolf story to what you're probably thinking of if you're thinking like what you think of as like a werewolf going nuts. So in the story, an unnamed priest traveling from Ulster, which is up in the north of Ireland, in case you don't know, encounters a wolf in the woods. The wolf unexpectedly begins to speak to him and tells him not to be afraid, which in my opinion is unlikely to happen. Like, it really gave me vibes of every time like a biblically accurate angel appears and they're like, be not afraid, don't worry about the 27 wings and like sphere of eyes that I am.
We're cool, don't worry.
It's like if you wake up in the Saw basement and he's like, I want to play a game, but don't be afraid.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, you're just like, do you know what? Maybe don't tell me how to feel.
Yeah, don't gaslight me about my feelings. Like,
I know my feelings. Thank you very much.
I am totally valid to feel this way. How dare you?
Yeah. And you're actually just ignorant.
You're so telling the Saw doll, you're just really ignorant as you're like having to hack out your own eyeball. like I can't believe I'm even doing this for you. This is like beneath me. And then they're like, when he's giving them instructions like you have to remove your eye. Like, please do not mansplain this to me. Like, I'm aware of where the key is.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm well aware. I can feel it in my head, just FYI.
I didn't need to see the X-ray image you just put up on the screen. I'm feeling really demeaned right now. Okay, we got off track, but that will forever be in my brain now. So this priest who this wolf has walked up on, so he takes the advice of the wolf and chills. So he asks the wolf, how are you a talking wolf? Like, elucidate this for me, because I am a bit confused, which is fair. The wolf explains that he and a woman from Ossory were cursed by Saint Natalis the abbot, and that they are compelled every 7 years to put off their human form and leave the company of men. So basically, it kind of sounds like they become a wolf every 7 years. Yeah. Which is, I mean, I guess they say, like, all of your cells are new every 7 years? So, like, maybe.
Yeah, do you know what? You could be on something there, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, every 7 years you realize that, like, you don't like celery, also you become a wolf. Like, you know,
I don't need 7 years to realize I don't like celery. I am not a fan.
Me neither. Oh, no, it's terrible.
Celery to me tastes like rope or the color brown. and I don't know how I can describe it any other way.
Just makes me think of being really sad in 1995 when that was the snack in kindergarten, was like celery with peanut butter on it, and I would lick the peanut butter off like a dog and then throw away the celery.
That never came this side of the, the water, thankfully. Well, I just associate celery with chicken wings. And it's just the sad extra bit of vegetable there that no one wants.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, could you choose a less appetizing vegetable to give me with my delicious chicken wings?
Yeah, here's this, here's all these wings that taste amazing, and here's this green shit that tastes like dirt.
It's like I get inordinately pissed at IKEA when I get meatballs naturally because I'm, a person, and they throw on, like, a fairly large sprig of parsley, and I'm like, unnecessary. Like...
Fair.
If I accidentally eat any of that parsley, I'm gonna be sad. Just like leave it off.
That's anyway. Fair. I've never actually eaten at IKEA, so I can't verify.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna fix that. Anyway, so the wolf explains, so he, every 7 years, becomes a wolf, and if they survive, then it gets a bit blurry here, like, at the end of the 7 years, if they have survived, then, like, 2 other beings will be substituted in their place to become wolves, and they can return to their country in former human form. Not quite sure how that works out, but the wolf goes on to explain that his wolf wife is dangerously ill, not inspired by divine charity. So the wolf asks the priest to give his sick wolf wife, like, consolations and final rites.
She was chasing a car and got hit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Postman went by.
She ate a really, like... she ate a really bad rabbit, and she
ate some chocolate, and now her tummy hurt.
She ate some chocolate in the dense medieval Irish forest.
Yeah, she could have found some bog butter. She could have got into that,
Oh no, the bitch found a Snickers. It's all over. You're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the wolf, the man wolf leads the priest to the woman wolf, and he gives her last rites. After which the man wolf pulls down the wolf skin to reveal an old human woman underneath, to reassure the priest that he is not committing blasphemy by giving Holy Communion to an animal. And I'm thinking,
that sounds
if
right.
You can just pull off the wolf skin to reveal the woman, then you're not exactly cursed to remain a wolf, are you? You just need to undress.
True. Or maybe he can, like, dispel the form temporarily or something.
Yes, maybe. Something like that. So he proves to the priest that there is, like, a woman in there, and, like, proper Red Riding Hood style, and he gives her last rites and she dies. So, while walking the priest out of the forest, as sort of thanks, the wolf, who has just lost his wife, decides to make a number of prophecies concerning the future of Ireland and the Norman invaders.
God, we love a good prophecy. Catholics, we love a good prophecy. Like,
especially if it's coming from like the mouth of a wolf, like Jesus. That's some intention.
We fucking rare infernal prophecy now.
So you read Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix when they're in, like, the Department of Mysteries. You were like frothing at the mouth, ready for those prophecies.
Oh, ready to go.
You were like, they're my people, my culture.
Yeah. Suz has erotica. I have prophecies.
Prophecies, fucking wild. Okay. So anyway, the prophecies he makes were actually so detailed that the priest, who then goes home and naturally tells people, like, yo, guess what I did this weekend, was ordered to travel to meet the Pope to present his story.
Yep, that checks out. That sounds about right.
Yeah, so, like, this goes all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And so there's a really interesting book called by Catherine Karkov called Tales of the Ancient, Colonial Werewolves and the Mapping of Post-Colonial Ireland, which is like such a fucking metal title. Oh my god.
Yeah, I do love that title. That's like a 10 out of 10 just for the title alone.
Like, why did we do our postgraduate study in what we did when we could have been doing this?
Yeah.
Every week we're like, God, we've just made poor life decisions.
Yeah, especially when I hear things like that.
Oh yeah. So she argues that Irish people being described as, like, bestial, yet still redeemable through the Christian sacrament was actually a really popular kind of motif. And she points to the old dying she-wolf as the passing of old Irish or Celtic church and beliefs into the new English church brought with the Normans. So that's kind of her reasoning as to why, to this story. And then, if you're interested, there's also a more narrativized version in, you're gonna love this, Banshees, Beasts, and Brides from the Sea by Bob Curran.
I have no notes.
No notes. Perfect.
Perfection has been achieved with that title.
And there's also a 2020 animated film called Wolfwalkers, which I've not seen or heard of, but apparently draws inspiration from the Werewolves of Ossuary. And there's, and this is going to be important, there's additionally the song called Blood for Blood by the German power metal band Werewolf is influenced by the story.
Of course, there's a German power metal band called Werewolf.
I know, it's the like, of course there is. Like, why wouldn't there be? But yeah, so I kind of wanted to start out with that one, A, because it's in Ireland, but B, because it really does, like, the werewolves are not, like, they're fairly neutral, even positive. Like, they're werewolves who are looking for the sacraments of Christianity, which I found really interesting. And when you think of a werewolf, you don't really think of, like, a Mr. Ed style, but wolf talking to you.
Yeah, good God-fearing werewolf.
I mean, if there's going to be a Catholic werewolf, it's going to be in Ireland, right?
It's true. Yeah. It is true. We would produce the best Catholic werewolves, to be fair.
For sure. And I've seen some motherfuckers with some hairy backs, like on the beach here, so...
Oh, yeah. They do. They exist out in the open.
Yeah. They've integrated.
Yeah, they are literally a nation of daywalkers.
They're somehow both werewolves and vampires, though, because I've also, like, I myself, as a pasty woman, like, have seen some pasty people here. So I think we're all just
my wife being one of them.
Yes,
like,
yes.
She actively would get burned by the moon if she was to stand outside long enough on a clear night.
Oh, I've taken a selfie with your wife, and we both are glowing.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like we were both, like, shown upon by the Lord.
Yeah. She's, it just boggles the mind every time I realize how pale she is.
Yep. So that's the Werewolves of Ossuary. So that's a fun little story, but I want to get into one that I really hope you haven't heard of this one, because I think it'll be right up your street and you'll be excited to hear about it. Have you heard of Theus of Kaltenborn?
No, definitely not. I'm trying to think. No, I've definitely not heard of it.
Yes. Okay, we're headed into 17th century Sweden.
My favorite type of Sweden.
Right, 17th century Sweden, fucking metal. Okay, so this Theus of Kaltenborn, and again, apologies to any of our Swedish or Nordic listeners. I could be mispronouncing that. I do apologize.
Fuck it, you've butchered Irish already, so let's...
Yeah, but I feel like I'm allowed to butcher Irish because, like, my Irish citizenship is in the post.
So
I can do what I want. Yes.
Okay.
So this person is also referred to as the Livonian werewolf. So my sources for this are the actual trial transcript from Old Theus, a Livonian werewolf, a classic case in comparative perspective by Carlo Ginzburg and Bruce Lincoln, Wikipedia, and Fictional Indexing Wiki.
Fuck. So, every time you list sources, I'm just like mad impressed. And then also just not at all bothered to do it when I do it myself.
Well, dude, just in case people are interested, they can go. And again, I want to say that I don't... I guess the whole thing with sources for me is that I want to make sure that I'm not saying something unintentionally, like, because with how many terrible people are on the internet, I don't want to accidentally, like, reference a racist or something.
Yeah, no, you're all good. Everyone knows.
Yeah. Exactly, so I'm actively trying to be like, this is where I looked, apologies if they've got some, like, deep state ties to, I don't know, something terrible.
It's all good, we've got balance, I just don't care, and you care enough for both of us, so.
It's true.
Yep.
So this story sees a man who was put on trial in around 1692 for heresy in Jürgensburg, Swedish Livonia. The man was in his 80s, and he openly proclaimed himself to be a werewolf. So, his main claim is that he had, on multiple occasions, journeyed to hell with an army of fellow werewolves to battle Satan and his legion of witches.
I so badly want to know this man. And also, like, this dude should not be on trial for heresy. He's fighting Satan.
Well, he claims that he is a literal hound of God.
Yeah, he is. You know.
Yeah, he is.
Fuck it. He should get a medal.
Yes. So, according to Theus, he and his pack of become wolves about 3 times a year, and they saunter on down to hell to fight the devil and his witches. And they do this as a way to both fight Satan and also retrieve grain and livestock that the witches have apparently stolen from the earth. So he says that he actually helps the village feed itself because he has rescued some of the oats and grain that have gone missing throughout the year because of witches.
So this man was the first one to really just embody that like wolf pack mentality.
Wolf pack, but also like maybe he's also the first person who's a member of a farmers union. I don't know.
Potentially.
Just asking questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Or he has dementia.
Or, I mean, unfortunately. Yeah. So, according to one account, he was actually pretty open with just about everybody about being a werewolf, which really gives me like quirky millennial furry vibes.
I was literally just thinking that.
Yeah. Like somebody on the werewolf was like, well, in human years I'm 32, but in wolf years I'm 454. I'm looking for my Luna. Like, I know she's out there.
It just reminded me of that, that dating show, that like famous clip of the guy online where he's like, he talks about how he has like wolf energy.
Yes.
And he does the like really like meek, like a woo at the end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. And he's definitely wearing Three Wolves Howling at a Moon t-shirt.
Yeah, 100%. That's what this guy is. He's the OG furry.
Yep. So, again, nothing against furries. Enjoy yourself. Just be nice about it, for fuck's sake. So again, I don't want to feel like I have to keep being like, again, it's not a problem. But, this guy said he had been openly a werewolf, but that he had given it up about a decade ago.
As you do.
How you can, like, I don't know, give up carbs or something.
Yeah, well, arguably that's a more difficult task, to be fair.
To give up carbs? Oh, yeah. As 2 people who have both given up carbs in their lives, like, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, we were never more hollow than we were both on keto.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's not a good time. So, honestly, no. I feel like giving up being a werewolf is the easier of the two.
Yes. I could absolutely agree with that. So his description of like his lycanthropy was actually wildly different than the traditional legends, even at the time, that were circulating around northern Germany and the Baltic regions. And it was actually more in line with kind of the werewolves of Ossuary, in that the werewolves were sort of a, I don't know, kind of a lawful good, or at least like neutral force.
Okay.
So he claimed that he had gone to court previously because a farmer broke his nose. However, this isn't like a farmer came up to him and punched him. This is an incident that happened when he was a wolf down in hell. He found a local farmer chilling down there because that farmer was, you guessed it, a practicing satanic witch. So the farmer attacked his wolf Sona and beat him with a broomstick that had several horse tails attached.
Oh my god. Okay.
So he literally went to court over an assault that happened while he was a wolf in hell.
I really just need to unpack this for a few seconds.
So, I mean, it really takes... I was so excited to find this because it really takes me back to the demon. The succubi who were claiming squatters' rights in the house in Germany.
Exactly what I was just thinking.
And the thing is, like, you can find, like... I found the transcript of this trial.
Okay. Did the other farmer have anything to say about this, or?
Well, so to be fair, it was very long, and I didn't read all of it. But it seemed like the other
Swedish just isn't up to
my medieval Swedish isn't great. So, but it seemed like the other farmer was I think it says something like the judges basically laughed him out of court. However, they did support his claim that his nose was broken after a medical examination. So, like, yes, he did break his nose. However, the Swedish judges were like, yeah, that didn't happen.
This is giving off some, like, serious, like, old man yells at sky vibes.
Yes. So this was a previous court appearance. So now we're back at this current, when he's in his 80s, court appearance. So right. He says that people who become werewolves, either, he says it different, he kind of changes the story midway through. So at the beginning he says they put on wolf pelts and they kind of then become wolves. And then later claims that they go into the bushes, transform into the wolves, and then go to hell.
They get their freak on in the bush, and then...
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, what kind of... I mean, is this just a really advanced form of dogging?
Yes,
like, that's
literally.
My question. Yes, it is quite literally an advanced form of dogging. So, he includes that he and other wolves would kill farm animals for food, but they would roast them? So, I'm just picturing a werewolf furry manning a barbecue in, like, a Kiss the Chef apron.
Yeah.
I'm like, either you kill farm animals to eat them as a wolf, or you cook them as a human. Wolves do not cook their food.
Well, these are wolves of culture. These are Swedish wolves,
Yeah, these are, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, are you wondering how he became a werewolf?
I am. I'm also, like, thinking of a separate question in my head around him giving up being a werewolf.
Yep.
Like,
we're gonna get into it.
Go ahead, and then I'll come back to my question afterwards. Then.
Okay. So he claims that a rascal,
Yep.
a wee chap, a rascal, made a toast to him and then, like, asked him to drink out of that jug, like out of that vessel. Because apparently, if a wolf breathes into the tankard 3 times and says the words, "It will be for you as it was for me," and then the recipient accepts the tankard, then the lycanthropy will pass on to them. It's like tag, but with alcohol.
Yeah, actually, I'm fully back now. I'm in on this again now.
Like, you're it.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I can just imagine, like, as the night progresses, you keep passing it back and forth to each other as you get progressively drunker.
It's like a supernatural cold sore.
Yeah, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, fuck, like, who is it?
Yeah, exactly. You wake up and you're like, fuck, I'm a wolf. Damn it. He looked fine. I've really got to lay off. I'm a devil for the drink.
Yeah.
So that's how he says that, like, lycanthropy is passed on. So apparently he, like, passed it on to somebody, but then got it back again. So
that's how it works.
It's like, yeah, it's a bit like a virus that just gets passed around.
Yep.
So what did the judges think of this tale at the official trial that did happen? So when he asked, basically they asked him, like, are you a Lutheran? Do you attend church regularly, listen to God's word, pray regularly, and partake of the Lord's Supper? And Theus said, no, he does none of those things because he, quote, was too old to understand them. Which is such a fucking boomer response.
That really is.
Like, that's like a boomer being like, no, I refuse to have an email address. Like, I don't, like, the internet is a series of tubes and I don't understand it. So yeah, he basically was like, no, I'm not a Lutheran because, like, I'm just too old to engage in this kind of newfangled religion.
Yeah, you know what? Man has stuck to his guns, you know?
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure that went down super well.
He is old man who howls at sky.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the judges felt that he was encouraging people away from Christianity with his stories, and he was sentenced to be flogged and banished.
Of course.
Which, God, we need to bring back banishment. I would love to go away and never come back.
Yeah. We're coming back around to it, I'm sure. Like, we've already regressed as a society.
Like, we internet cancel people. Can we banish them?
It is in the Judge Dredd universe, you know, so, like, if we want to go down that route, we could bring it back.
I mean, do we want to go down the Judge Dredd route? That's the question.
I mean, arguably, we've already started on the path anyway the last few years, so...
Yeah, god damn it. Anyway, so, he was sentenced to be flogged and banished, and that's kind of the end of the narrative there. So, I wanted to, like, in pop culture, this story has actually popped up a few times. So, the character of Ethan Chandler in the show that I absolutely love, Penny Dreadful, is referred to as Lupus Dei in season 2, which is Latin for wolf of God. So again, like hounds for God. I mean, again, it sounds like an evangelical Christian, like, men's club.
Oh,
like,
fuck,
oh
it
yeah,
does.
We're hounds for God, right? Like, we've got that alpha grind set for the Lord.
Oh, no. No, go away with your
no, don't go away.
Toxic masculinity.
And then there's a character called Miss Lupescu who is a werewolf in Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book, who calls herself a hound of God. And to bring it back around, the German metal band Powerwolf has an album called Lupus Dei, which follows the life of a werewolf who loses his faith, goes to hell, but ultimately realizes the light of God.
Let's keep an eye on that band. Let's just, you know...
I've brought it back around to Powerwolf.
Yeah. Maybe someone should just keep an eye on them.
Can we get a welfare check on Powerwolf?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was one that I thought was, again, super interesting and funny and legal and weird, and, like, the early modern court system basic in Europe sounds like an absolute shit show based on the few things I've read, and I love it.
I mean, yeah, you could get tried for heresy. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is the Werewolf of Livonia. So to wrap up, I thought these were 2 interesting werewolf cases because they're so different than most of the historical accounts and popular culture references, where a werewolf is sort of this out of control being that rips people apart and, like, menaces communities. And then like there are obviously loads more that I'm sure one of us or both of us might cover in the future, but these just struck me as really funny and like comically non-horrific, which I thought was interesting. And I just wanted to like leave with a final, like, obviously like there are lots and lots of werewolf stories in pop culture that are not Twilight. And so I think, I don't know about you, but I really like Ginger Snaps, which is a horror film that's kind of a metaphor for a girl moving into young adulthood.
Fuck, I have not thought about that film in I have not thought about that in ages.
It's such a good film, though.
Like, that genuinely was not in my brain at all until you said the words Ginger Snaps, and it just fucking, like, transported me back in time.
Like, I love the idea that, like, when you get your period, you become a werewolf, because honestly, it legit feels that way. Like, as someone who has had to deal with, like, getting a first period as a teenager, like, holy shit. Like, yeah, I was ready to kill people.
Fair. I obviously can't throw my 2 cents in there, so...
No, Rob can't speak to this lived experience, but...
no, but I support you.
Yeah, oh, thank you. But no, so that's really one I like. I really like the representation of, like, the character of Oz and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who is, like, this, like, the most fucking chill guy ever, played by Seth Green, except when he's a crazed werewolf 3 nights a month. And then finally, I love An American Werewolf in London, which has one of the most frightening and, like, well done, like, full daylight transformation scenes ever. So if you haven't seen that, I highly suggest it. It's a fun watch.
It's great. I would also suggest Dog Soldiers, if anyone hasn't seen that. This is a funny one. So Dog Soldiers, it's a UK film about werewolves, but it's very popular in Ireland and the UK, but for some reason, anyone I've ever talked to about it who's not from Ireland or the UK has like had your exact reaction of like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, Jesus. I mean,
I would strongly recommend watching it.
Last one, so I recently, well, not recently, but in the last couple of years, I watched with my husband, what is it, was it Death, Sex, and Robots, or Love, Death, and...
Yeah.
That Netflix show? Crap.
Love, Sex, and Robots, Death, Sex, and Robots. Yeah, another one, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why I just said the word crap. It's like I'm 12 again. Anyway, they have an episode where, because it's kind of like each episode is a standalone thing. They have an episode where there are 2 soldiers in Iraq, like American guys, who are like werewolves and are kind of like discriminated against by the larger army, but are necessary for them being able to like successfully counter terrorism there or something. Like, it's actually a really weird representation. You should give it a watch. It's fun. So that's my first foray into werewolves. I hope you had a good time.
I did. Actually, just on a final film that I would recommend that's just come into my head. Van Helsing.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. What a fantastic film.
It's such a great film, and I'm sure we'll catch flack for liking it, but do you know what? Fuck it. It's a great film. I love it. It's so good. Hugh Jackman's great in it.
I think we're both of the same mindset of like, you're allowed to like what you like. Like, I hate people that are like gatekeeping quality or cringe or whatever. Like, no, fucking like what you like. We're all like, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. We're all going to die. No one is free. Like what you like.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. And Van Helsing is one of them. I love it. It's so good.
It's so fun. That is such a fun film.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, I just thought one of my favorite representations of werewolves and vampires is the Underworld series.
They are great, actually. It's been a long time since I've watched them as well.
And they've also got this kind of like industrial cyberpunk vibe to them, which I think was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's great. It's really, really good.
All right,
I haven't thought about them in ages, actually.
Oh, I know, me neither. Yeah. But yeah, so that's 2 werewolf films, or not films, stories that are less horrific, but really, really fucking weird to me.
Yeah, they were fun. They're really fun.
Catholic wolves, and specifically not Lutheran wolves, because Lutheranism is like way too trendy for him.
Yeah, and the connection to both of them is a German power metal band
called Powerwolf. I mean, that should just be the title of the episode, Powerwolf.
Absolutely. I'm just sitting here thinking about that guy, the Swedish guy, just like passing it around and like on a night out.
I just sent you a photo from a manuscript that kind of, I believe, is talking about like the Werewolves of Ossuary, in case you're interested.
Oh yeah, that's a good image. I love how the female wolf is just basically lying in a giant egg.
Yes, she is, an egg with like weird symbols on it.
Yeah.
And the what's that haircut called? That the priest has?
Oh, it's like the Little John style haircut.
Yeah, like the circle cut out of the of the top of the head, like that's there. And then the other wolf, the one that's the man wolf that's giving prophecies, is kind of standing on one leg vertically. So
and he's wearing some bling as well.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'm hoping it's something fun, like if found, return to owner or something.
No, he's a dog. It's just a thing full of brandy.
That's it.
He's a rescue dog.
He's a rescue dog. I actually adopt, don't shop. Get a rescue werewolf.
100%. Yeah, you absolutely should.
So yeah, that's my fun little werewolf stories for today to get you through becoming chillier September.
Thank you.
At least where we live.
I'm just thinking to myself, how much I love Guinness.
You do.
Like absolute fiend for it, unashamedly so. And I'm just picturing like on a night out, being just drinking pints of Guinness and just like passing lycanthropy around, basically.
Yeah,
just
and it being kind of like a game, like who's gonna wake up a werewolf?
Yeah. Like the thing is, like you drink enough Guinness, arguably you're gonna wake up the next morning feeling like death anyway. So
I mean, we did like talk briefly about how like we look back at our like undergrad selves and are like, dear God, I should be dead.
Yeah, absolutely. The undergrad self for me, that was my pre-Guinness drinking, and like I'm so grateful that I wasn't drinking Guinness on top of everything else at the time.
Oh God, no, I mean that for me it was like tequila is my lady.
Yeah. Yeah, I said it to you already. Like I feel ill at the thought of what I used to put into my body as an undergrad.
Yep. I think even just thinking about that gave me a headache yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I've just transitioned into my like older Irish man phase of I only drink Guinness and whiskey.
So yeah, I hope we can maybe set some like autumnal vibes going forward with werewolves and forests and things.
Yep.
And pumpkin chai lattes and German metal power bands.
Yep. Spooky season is upon us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Well, Rob, can you tell the audience where they can find us?
Yeah, for sure. They can get us on Instagram at the Spooky AF Pod. You can get us at Gmail at the Spooky AF Podcast at gmail.com. And you can find us on YouTube at the Spooky AF Podcast as well. So, we're kind of around there. We do have a Threads account if people want to follow us on Threads. But I'm going to be honest, I made a post there about 6 months ago and I haven't made one since. So, maybe someday.
What you're saying is we're so active there, they don't like... Just constant.
Yeah, mad active. I think we have like maybe 200 followers on Threads.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
I'm just perpetually astounded that anyone listens to us. Like the person you showed me that like sent in a picture of their Crocs in solidarity with me. I had so much like delight and mad respect for that. I was like, oh my God, somebody cares.
Oh, 100%. And like that message brought me such joy. I really, really appreciated just basically called out for my hate towards Crocs.
Yeah, exactly.
And
anyway.
I think it's amazing. But yeah, actually that person, her username is Shot by What's Her Name. She is a super, super talented photographer, so people should definitely go check her out.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, she put me on blast for my opinions on Crocs, and I respect it, but I disagree with you. So there's that.
Well, you can tell her that I was like my friend. I am delighted. We can be our own wolf pack and descend into hell and fight those with Birkenstocks as we wear our Crocs.
You're trying to start a civil war here, Suz.
I am trying to start a satanic civil war, and I will not be stopped.
Fair. Okay. I don't know if I can follow you down that path, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Well, we did agree recently that ultimately I'm going to have to come and break you out of a U.S. government camp, some kind of like army base.
Yeah, and it's genuinely becoming a problem now because like my Reddit has just become just mad. Like I've sent you some screenshots, Suz, of like some threads that come across my Reddit now. It is like, it's great content for what, like, future episodes. Fantastic for that. But like, it's the people who actually believe the stuff that I'm reading. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. You've sent me some stuff and your Reddit seems like somewhere I wouldn't go with a gun. But...
No, absolutely not. Like, just a very brief example. I was on a thread the other day where someone was posting looking for another person by their username because they were genuinely convinced that the government had found them and taken them because they got too close to a conspiracy theory about praying mantis style aliens who are actually running the world.
Oh my god, I both love and hate that.
There was like, I'm not like hundreds of comments of people being like, yeah, I haven't seen him in ages, like this is really strange, usually he's really active. And
oh, speaking of, I want to throw it out to the listeners. If anybody's interested, I would really love to do a video, or sorry, not a video, a podcast episode on like TikTok conspiracy theories and like the roots that they're kind of like the sources they're drawing from, which are absolutely mental, and some of them are actually pretty spooky. But they're obviously like insane. So if anybody's interested in that, please let us know, because I think that'd be a really fun episode.
Yeah, for sure. You can actually submit your favorite TikTok conspiracy theories to us.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, thanks for listening to us yap. As always, like, we have such a great time doing this, and we're just delighted that people seem interested in it. So have a good rest of the week whenever you happen to be listening to this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.